We're finally into the episode, which I consider to be less bad in comparison to the new laws that I've talked about in last September. I understand that people may have mixed opinions towards this episode for how Sadie's character just has a drastic turn that makes her worse as Laws, but at the same time, when I say as Laws, I meant just doing things that Laws would usually do to avoid doing work, and mainly doing the right thing. But as far as I'm concerned, knowing full well that this is the episode where it indicates that Sadie is just trying to do everything to please Laws and trying to change him for the better, it kind of shows that manipulation sometimes isn't always a bad thing when it comes to episodes like this. Our adventure begins with the Crystal Gems trying to find the gem monster that is located on the island, but they can't find it. Steven comes back to the Big Donut to see Laws and Sadie arguing, which gave him an idea by taking the two on vacation, mainly back on the island where they can relax and cool off from all the stress that they're dealing with. Unfortunately, when Laws tries to get back to Beach City, the warpad disappears, which he needs reception on his phone, but he slowly grows adjustment towards the beach itself to the point that he's getting closer to Sadie. This episode taking inspiration on what castaways are dealing with when it comes to being on an island. While they get into arguments, sure, they're slowly enjoying themselves on an island, since that islands change people that are away from where they are used to adjust with when it comes to being on the phones and whatnot. And considering that Sadie is doing this in order to see the soft side of Laws, I need to be really truthfully honest. As much as I understand what she did was wrong, keep in mind, she actually redeemed herself towards the end of the episode, even after it's been revealed that she was hiding the warpad. And if she did kiss Laws rather than Laws kissing Sadie, then I'm pretty sure that I would understand where the criticisms are coming from. Like, I would have agreed on the fact that Sadie's character would have been butchered for how she's developed, but as far as I'm concerned, she's at least trying to make the best out of it when it comes to the situation that she caused. And while it won't change the fact that she is causing the situation regardless, keep in mind, do you think that other characters who do these scenarios would do anything than what Sadie does, mainly catching fishes in order to have them for supper? As far as I'm concerned, while Laws may do the cooking, it doesn't change the fact that Sadie still catches the fishes. As for the song Be Whatever You Are by Steven, to tell you the truth, it's a nice song that actually captures the vibes of being stranded on an island. And as far as I'm concerned, considering that his idea by getting these two together wasn't mainly entirely his plan, since that Sadie has hidden the warpad, I'm starting to convince that if he was responsible of hiding the warpad, then I can guarantee you that he would have been just like how he was in the new Laws, but worse. With Sadie being the one hiding the warpad, to tell you the truth, I'm gonna be really honest with you, what else can she do to make Laws being his soft side when it came to doing anything else at the Big Donut or mainly in Beach City? Because as far as I'm concerned, she has no other option, and it's not possible for her to succeed when Laws is always gonna be himself outside of the island. Yes, Laws has every right to be furious at Sadie, which really sums up a lot that he's not going to change for the good, but as far as I'm concerned, when I say that being in control of a person's body is a lot more worse than manipulation, it's really honest, and it's really accurate, considering that if Sadie was in Steven's position in the new Laws, I don't think that she would be able to make anything better after what she did in this episode. And besides, if Sadie's motivations all along was mainly just trying to be in a relationship with Laws, it's one thing, but at the same time, it takes time to make that work. Like, she can't be able to do it right away in one episode. Yes, it may took days or a couple of weeks in this episode, but at the same time, as far as I'm concerned, there was no other way for Sadie to make things right with Lars, and considering that later on, they are apart in future, I'm gonna be really real with you, this is literally the only chance that Sadie would make things right with Lars in order to do a stunt like this. Besides, I would still be in Lars' position if I was him in this episode, but at the same time, it wouldn't make a difference considering that Sadie redeems herself after the warpath has been revealed. When they encountered the gem monster who is invisible just when they are about to leave the island, Sadie accidentally bumps Lars off of a cliff, and that's where the gem monster is, and she tries to face off with it. And she succeeds by pushing the sphere that she used to catch fishes in order to have the gem to be shattered. I'm gonna be really honest with you, knowing full well of how people are giving Sadie a hard time, they instantly not realize that the ending of this episode is a quick redemption for her in order to make up the stuff that she did to Lars and Steven. What also makes me question is where the heck were the crystal gems were when they realized that Steven isn't around, especially since that it's been days or a couple of weeks. This is literally the most neglectful that they were in other episodes when they not realizing that Steven is lost, while in the Connie's family episode, they were instantly paranoid with Steven and Connie leaving inside of a bus. As far as I'm concerned, it just feels a lot more awkward where we don't get to see the outcome of what they're feeling, even if it may be off screen, but as far as I'm concerned, on an island, that's a lot more worse than what Steven and Connie did by going away and start a new life. But then again, my perspective towards that episode is mainly on the fact that I was focusing on Connie's parents, more on the fact that Steven and Connie were kids. It doesn't change the fact that I just didn't like that episode as much as the other Steven and Connie episodes. I can't say that this episode is good, but at the same time, it's not as bad as what anyone else would describe when it comes to Sadie's character. Let me just say this right now, rewatching this episode numerous of times, it maybe came to the conclusion that this episode is literally trying to do a lot more when it comes to a few characters, rather than Steven himself. As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to Sadie and Lars episodes, it's one of the best ones, but not one of the best in comparison to the other good episodes. I'm giving this episode a 7 out of 10.